It's the day of the show.
Come in B-19. Come in B-19. Ceiling 500 feet. Visibility 7 yards. Level off. Steady now. Easy does it.
STC.
Look, this is just an informal chat. We were wondering what you were working on in your lab.
Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Right, and what's positive about that?
Well, it's a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
This is a drug for the world to give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, great. Thanks for stopping by.
You just don't get it here.
They think I'm crazy, but I know better. It is not I who am crazy. It is I who am mad.
Hi there, I'm William Shatner. The Batman Superman, world's finest, number 25 cover is coming out. It's terrific. People are excited. So am I. Maybe you will be too.
I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
Hell no. You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
I seen them.
Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Huh?
No, I can't say I have.
I didn't think so.
Fool this man.
I thought if Casanova and Ianzera had nothing to say to each other, he'd get bored. Go away. Instead, he uses it as a chance to put his testicles all over me.
His what?
How you say, octopus, testicles.
Tentacles. NT. Tentacles.
Tentacles.
There's a big difference.
I'm a little worried about your son, Bob.
We're sorry. I'm sorry, too.
There's no need to apologize, but let me ask you, what's the situation like at home?
It's fun. We get to run around and paint.
That seems healthy.
Yeah, I'm strong. Like the Hulk.
Say, would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel? They're a little melty, but damn are they exquisite. And if I remember correctly, you're a big pretzel fan.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, come on.
No,
They're
please.
awesome.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oh.
Oh.
That's disgusting.
Hey, Underpants! You mess with one boy adventurer, you mess with all of us.
I think they were hoping you'd say that.
Looks like you got a little, herpy on your lip there. You've been kissing your wife's ass? After I put herpy in there?
What?
Registered commies, not guns.
Oh, he was probably a member of the National Rifle Association. There was a group that helped criminals get guns so they could shoot citizens. It was a public service.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus.
Are your parties dull and boring? Well, why not liven them up with the snack food that's sweeping America?
Say, Mike, this is some great pate. It has such a unique flavor.
It's more than just an ordinary pate, Bill. Watch.
What the? You know, I never saw an appetizer do that before. Wow.
Now, you never tried silly pate before. Not only is it fun at parties, it's low in saturated fats. And look, it picks up your favorite comic strip. I'm eating Doonesbury.
And I'm eating Beetle Bailey.
Yes, you'll never have a dull, lifeless party again with Silly Pate. Silly Pate. Available in all fine gourmet shops and toy stores everywhere.
Andy Warhol and John Waters, in conjunction with Saliva Productions, present Jim Barrie's beloved children's classic, Peter Pan.
I think I see him. No, that's just a cloud. No, it's not. It's Peter.
I'm flying. Look at me way up high, suddenly here am I, I'm flying.
Yes, it's Divine, starring as the boy who wouldn't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
And recite a silly rule.
And recite a silly rule.
Do you really want to get him? You see what I'm saying? What are you prepared to do?
Everything within the law.
And then what are you prepared to do? If you open the ball on these people, Mr. Nash, you must be prepared to go all the way. Because they won't give up the fight until one of you is dead.
I want to get Capone. I don't know how to get him.
Want to get Capone? Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And that's how you get Capone.
Where's your rope, Ignacio?
It was stinky, but these are my recreation clothes.
They look expensive.
Thank you. I mean, yes, they may have the appearance of riches, but beneath the clothes, we find a man. And beneath the man, we find his nucleus.
No, that's the whole point. It's the same exact thing, but it's with women, right? So it's a new idea.
Okay, I just feel that if it's all with women, then it should be better.
Why can't we just do the same thing?
Because if we do the same thing, then why are we doing it at all?
Yeah, I gotta say I agree with that. I mean, why can't we just come up with our own record to break? Like some badass woman who could really throw them back, you know? Judy Garland, Liz Taylor.
Joan Crawford.
Betty Ford. But no, those are all sad examples of alcohol abuse. The box thing just feels more fun, you know? When women do it, it just feels sad.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. For everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with high chops. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents, our 211th episode. Consecutive Tuesdays, 8 o'clock, give or take a minute. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and everybody after the fact. Thank you very much. If you at all are interested, maybe possibly give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you just stumbled across us, and hit the bell for notifications if you like what you're hearing. What is this show talking about comics? I mean, there's so many shows out there talking about comics. Who's this guy talking to me? Well, let me tell you.
My name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to have a hot discussion about comic books. A lot of books coming out tomorrow. And, you know, is it too many? Or better than that, when it's a series that's coming out and it's tied into so many other things, is it too many? We'll be talking about that. And also, there was a death in the comic book industry, and it's a person I've experienced in comics for most of my life. So we're gonna pour one out for Paul Neary, inker extraordinaire, and other things. So we'll get into that and have a conversation about that. There's a bunch of, did you see that William Shatner bit that I showed? He's going to be on the cover of World's Finest. Batman, Superman, number 25. Of course, that's a perfect number to have King Shatner on every Saturday. Well, I try to remember to. We take a moment out of our day to have a little bit of Shatner joy on that Saturday. We call it Shatner Days. And I like to play his music, his songs. Boy, there's something else. We talk about things from a comic book store owner's point of view, a comic book store's point of view, and a fan. That's me, Yule. I wear a lot of hats, but most of them are either this beanie or my Dodger hat. Sometimes you see a Spidey one, maybe like a Pokemon. I play Pokemon Go. We could exchange numbers if you ever want to do that. Let me know in the chat, comments afterwards. We can make a big old a community, a Pokemon Go community. More than I'm good at giving gifts, I promise. First, though, so since we talk about things that go on in the comic book store, this is one of the things that people like to talk about. I get a lot of conversation about it, and I have a funny anecdote related to this. So here we go. Yeah, we talk about wrestling in the comic store. A lot of people come in and they really like AEW, and I got to admit, I'm not a big fan. At first I was excited, but then it really wasn't a thing that I was so into. And it's always about surprise and adding something on top of something and making sure you bleed or do something that's ridiculous. And, you know, we've kind of gotten into this post Vince McMahon world, and we were already moving towards, you know, away from that anyway. And then Tony Khan came back and brought Southern Hillbilly Wrestling in to the professional ranks, and John Moxley was more than happy to oblige. And it doesn't look good, and there's lots of things that don't look good, and things have been trying to veer away from them for such a long time, and just the stink of wrestling is difficult. And then you have something like this. This is Sammy Guevara. Look at this knee. Look at right in his face. Bam, bam, bam. Then, and that might not so this was like fan footage, yeah, right, sure. And then there was this one that came afterward, and accidents do happen. The problem is that Sammy Guevara, these accidents happen a lot. And one of the first times, and probably the time I was like, I'm out with AEW, can't stand it anymore, was when Aubrey Edwards let a match go when Sammy Guevara fucked up Matt Hardy on concrete. That's not that I have a love necessarily of any of the Hardy brothers, because the other one was Jeff Hardy in this situation. But then Matt Hardy gets in the ring and he's helping his brother up, and then this happens. And you can see him flipping off Sammy, and he's yelling at him. But there are some angles of Jeff in another spot where he really did look pretty messed up. Granted, he always looks messed up, even in matches that he wins since forever. So it's not an uncommon thing. But it even if it is just a work and they're doing a thing, it's low class. It's time to not do that kind of thing. And let me be that person. For the third week in a row, we talk about TNA, and again, it's about Scott D'Amore, who was let go last week. First, he left, and then he was let go, and now there's talent signing their name supposedly to some paper that was written about how they should be hiring Scott D'Amore back. But most importantly, not some fucking corporate stooge takeover, because that's the death knell for all wrestling. Of course, the people that probably own the company don't give a shit. If he was so great, why aren't we so great? WWE is going to have a pay-per-view in Perth, Australia on Saturday. It's the Elimination Chamber, and all sorts of people are going to be there. There's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. There's going to be Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus Judgment Day. And if you haven't seen, I got a little bit of video of Tyler Bate.
I'm the killer. I'm running real quick.
Baby legs, here we go! That's the sound I make when I'm trying to run fast.
That's right. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I think they're gonna win. Maybe not. And then there's the 2 elimination chambers. My goodness, Liv Morgan, and the most recently added whatever her name is. She's the one with the back, everybody. Oh, look at that. It's Trinity or whatever the hell she's calling herself these days. Becky, Bianca, and that's the one from NXT, the Tiffany Stratton. And then the men, we got Kevin. Oh yeah, and that's for who's gonna face Rhea Ripley, I guess. I think that's what it is. No, it's not for Rhea. I don't know what the hell it is for. Who's gonna face Seth Rollins? We're gonna have Kevin Owens, LA Knight, yeah, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, and Logan Paul. Oh, that should be hot. That's it. That's your wrestling minute. All right. This is just going along swimmingly. What do you think of the video in the background? Do you think that's pretty good? I've got some batting practice of Ohtani that I'm going to be putting up soon. And speaking of things that I'm putting up soon tomorrow, before Eric O'Sullivan has his show come up at noon, I'll have like a 15-minute video premiere probably around 11:40, 11:30, something like that. So it would, like, if you're already going to watch his show, you could come on in and watch mine and then go right into Eric's and not miss a bit. It's me and one of my customers, and he brought some really classic comic books to the store, and I did a video on it. 5 comic books are featured, and it will be for free. And anybody on Patreon that gives to us, and anybody that subscribes to the channel money-wise, and it's like the price of a comic book, an inexpensive one, $3.99. You're going to be able to get to see this. This is my first time doing a video like that, and I've already put it up. So you can access it almost immediately. If you just subscribe, I would recommend it because some of those comics are really cool. And here's a little taste of the video that you'll be seeing tomorrow, minus something that I left out. Make you have to look at it. This looks like a person that could have made some money doing comics, though.
It's pretty unusual for the time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there was a few weird comic illustrators, but this is pretty much as weird as it gets.
I love him. I'm really into mazes.
Yeah.
And this guy's doing this whole maze style. All right. So this is number what again?
This is Weird Horrors number 6 from February 53.
All right. That's nice.
Yeah, 53.
Tore up comic.
Yeah.
Is it easy to get? Is this one, like, if I was looking for this comic?
It's not terribly hard to find, but it's not common.
Uh-huh.
But you can find it.
All right. Anything else you want to say about this one?
No.
All right. Looks nice. I like it.
Oh, actually, I commissioned someone to do an oil painting of this cover.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I have like a giant painting of this in my room.
Ooh, you'll take a picture and send it to me.
I can do that.
All right, cool. And he did that. I want to thank Emil. He might be in chat or watching the show later on. Thank you, as always. It's really good. I thought I did a good job. I put some pictures in it, and it's all being recorded at the store with the door open while we were open. We actually had another customer in the store at that time, Dane. He doesn't watch this show, so we can say any foul thing about him we want. So give Dane a big old number 2 in chat. But yeah, so there you go. That's tomorrow on the channel, or if you're a Patreon of Fantastic Comics, or if you join the channel here, this channel, you will be getting that. I'm doing stuff for you guys. We're doing stuff for you guys. Gotta make them pay, right? Yeah, I guess we've held this out long enough. Thank you, everybody, for joining us once again, and to everybody live in chat.
Hello. 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 Oh. Look out. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Cheers. Tall can today. Can I get through it before the show's over? Sure, I've talked a lot already. Early, just to let everybody know. Eric O'Sullivan, channel member, can watch that video tomorrow also. And then the one behind the paywall. A big week indeed. So depressed, I had to start a poll list at my LCS. I know it helps the shop ordering, but it feels so obligatory now. All the same, boops for Gizmo. You know what? Boops for Gizmo, indeed. I think I have a picture of him right there in a box. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Before we filled the floor with stuff. Thank you very much, as always, Eric O'Sullivan. You're awesome. Speaking of awesome customers, who's trying to give something away here. Tons, you say. Well, I can confirm it on the DC front since I've already got my haul. Half are already posted. The other half will hopefully be up before tonight's show. Follow Fantinuum on Instagram. You can follow his YouTube channel, but he's even more lazy as far as I am. I mean, holy cow! Finally back to watch live. Christina K, I got some comic books for you. Come on in. Hello, says Joby Pill in the other room. Lane Kramer. Let's hear it for Fantastic Comics, Mr. Yule Carter. I saw they revealed 4 of the one-shots for Blood Hunt. They are something written by some something writers. We're going to be talking about Blood Hunt in just a few moments. Elithid Lore says, hey. And Dwayne Muth says, hello, Yule, and everyone in chat. And you know what? That's a good break for just a second. Dwayne Muth, Dwayne McDuffie. R.I.P. Dwayne McDuffie. He is not the person we're talking about later on this evening or this episode. He is, like I said, R.I.P. His birthday is today, and a lot of people are remembering him. There's a lengthy missive by Gail Simone talking about how he inspired her to be to continue to continue doing what she does. He worked on all sorts of stuff that we all love: Justice League Unlimited, Ben 10, comic books, Fantastic Four. I'm not actually as big a fan of his comic book work, if I gotta let you know. I did like Hardware, but I love Dennis Cohen. So other than that, he's done some other things, but it's mostly the animated stuff that I've enjoyed, Justice League wise at least. But a lot of people like his stuff all over the place, and that's good remembering people. Sometimes when I have Joe and Eric on, we've talked about trying to celebrate someone while they're alive. I don't think we would have ever gotten around to Paul Neary because, for the most part, people think of him as an inker. But there is a lot to have a conversation about. We will be doing that too. Also, everybody from last week that thinks Ace is not real, their Ace is holding Transformers and said, darn, if I knew I'd be taking a picture, I'd have worn my Transformers buttons. So there you go, everybody. Ace is indeed real. Indeed. All right, let's go back. Dwayne Muth, that was a good break. Okay, Rogue Comics. Oh my God, I remember how shitty the Untouchable scene looked in Pan and Scan. Hey man, just rip it off the internet. Oh yeah, Joe. Yeah, R.I.P. Paul Neary, exactly. I looked alert. I don't know how many books are coming out tomorrow, but it's probably too many. Actually, it's not that many titles that I'm going to be really paying attention to. There are some variant covers, though. You know, it's one of those things. Pokemon Go to your LCS, Fear Monarch. Amen. Adam Frey. Hey, Adam Frey. My Pokemon Go code. Southern Hillbilly Wrestling. Well, you know, Florida. That's where they were pretty much located during the pandemic, and always like traveling, you know, southern states, except for Chicago and New York every once in a while, and I guess California recently too. Not well. I mean, when you're talking about the Young Bucks, you're in Cucamonga territory. I've never been in Cucamonga territory. Also, Sammy is ridiculously unsafe to himself and others. I agree. And to work an angle off something that looked like it was serious, like a real thing. And not only that, WWE recently has been actually like Xing matches off. And they don't usually bring up the X anymore when to fake, you know, for, you know, story wise and stuff like that. Remember when he flipped off a ladder and almost broke his own neck? Yes, I do remember that. I wasn't really watching by that time, but I've seen all, I mean, watch AEW botches. Follow them on Instagram. Rogue Comics, he's too busy tapping what's her face to pay attention to being safe. Amen. Oh man, that was, oh my God. So many missed spots. That's one of the tent poles. Look at their tent poles. You got Jungle Jack Perry. You got Sammy Guevara. You got Darby Allin. That guy is going to be a wreck by his own doing in life. Just with his shit he does. I mean, he looks like the Jeff Hardy that doesn't do drugs. I don't know how long a guy like that can continue. And then Max MV or whatever he's calling himself. Yeah, that guy, not MVP. That douche. Sometimes I play on Twitter somebody that cares about Judaism, and sometimes I play a guy on Twitter that doesn't give a fuck about what Angle has to do with Judaism or anti. Oh my goodness. AEW. Wrestling has so many high flying in spots, it causes a lot more injuries. Well, I mean, no risk, no reward, right? Obviously, when you're trying to be seen, you might want to do something spectacular. You know, I'm writing Thunderbolts and it's going to be canceled in 3 issues if someone doesn't read it. Let's do something crazy. That makes sense. But if you're doing something crazy, or always announcing something, or always signing the next big thing all the time, and they never, ever really pay off, and all you're doing is getting injured. Come on. Oh, yeah. The pay-per-view is 5 a.m. on the East Coast, 2 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm assuming Jill will watch it live on the West Coast. I will wake up in the morning, watch it, and then go to work. Hopefully that works out that way. Raquel Gonzalez. Amen. How could I have forgotten? All right, let's go. Let's get on with this. R.I.P. Dwayne McDuffie. Adam Frey, I guess I should say hi. I posted my Pokemon Go code. Oh, awesome. There it is. Let me just screenshot that. We'll be Pokemon Go friends. This will be great. My Paul Neary memories are what he did with the Marvel UK line. The amount of talent he shepherded through those books. Love that line. Great. We will be talking about that. Jimmy T. Stoked to be back and come back through this week for new goods. All right. Oh, MJF. Gosh. Chillmonger. This ain't ballet. It ain't ballet. That's true. I'm a big Bret Hart fan. That's like my number one wrestler. I got 2 pop vinyls back there to prove it. if that does. I don't know. But it's all about work and making it look real and being as, tight as possible. But you're not supposed to hurt anybody. And anytime you're doing super crazy flips, you have less a chance of being able to do that. Anytime you're taking a drink before you go out or pop a pill before you do that, anytime you're injured before you do that and you do something, you're less likely to pull it off. Anytime you're nervous and you're on the big stage and you weigh near 300 pounds, you shouldn't be Brock Lesnar doing that. I think it used to be Rodriguez and now it's Gonzalez, or maybe it's Rodriguez and it was Gonzalez. But yes. And then lastly, Eric, good to see you. You think Sammy is bad? Wait till Osprey shows up. Oh, Osprey. If I wanted to get anybody that works European or Japanese, it would be Zack Sabre Jr. He's spindly, but he really knows how to grapple. And the thing is the farther away you get from wrestling, the more likely you're going to hurt yourself, unless we're talking about mic work. Showmanship, that's a little bit different. But, you're not, and not only that, you should only be doing that for people that pay. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that for free, even if it is on Netflix next year. You don't give it away. Give it away. All right, that's it. Let's see. Let's talk about best of last week. Oh, wait. Yeah, I got through all y'all. Okay, great. Done. Best of last week, everybody. Make sure you come on into the store Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. We're hanging out a little bit after, more often than not. Traffic sucks, and I can't stand being in it when it's good. So I am probably around. It's been getting lighter out. Spring's coming up. Baseball's going to start. Life is good. And you know what? Some comics that came out last week were really, really good too. Although the first couple I'm going to talk about, I can't really tell you if it's true because I didn't read them because they sold out. Thanks to one of my customers who came in and listened to the show and said, I want to try that. And it's all here. And I ordered too tight, so I have to get more. But that's a good thing because not only are people listening and liking things that I recommend, but it's a book that I like, actually, and it's selling. So yay for Hunger in the Dusk. Chris Wildgoose and G. Willow Wilson. Vengeance of Moon Knight, number 2. I didn't go crazy on my ordering, but all the people that have been buying Moon Knight have been enjoying, continuing the story, continuing the ride. And this was a sellout. And Fall of the House of X number 2 sold out. I got more coming in, just like Vengeance of Moon Knight, just like I'll probably need for Rise of the Powers of X coming out. Oh, whoops. So that one was really good, or sold out. This one was not a sellout, but I'm telling you right now, it's very good. I like Green Lantern books, and especially when they're good. I don't read them all the time. But Jeremy Adams is moving over from Flash to do Green Lantern, and I think he's a solid writer. And not only that, one of my customers is related through marriage to him. So we should make sure we get a ton of thumbs up on this video. A lot of people in the chat, in the comments saying, hey, we should get Jeremy Adams on the show. I think he's a West Coast guy, so he can do 8 o'clock. And if we could show him that, hey, we want to have Yule do his style of interview with Jeremy Adams, you got to let me know in the comments down below. What? You'll have a Joe Casey comic book on by a guy named Simon Gain. And yes, this art on the cover looks like the art on the inside. But don't let I don't know. I think some people will look at it and go, oh, this is just very much this thing. but it's not, just like most Joe Casey comics. And Dutch is an older 90s image character created by Chap Yape, one of the characters from Youngblood that didn't get taken by this guy. Sorry, Rob. And Dutch is able to be used, and Joe Casey's lending his talents. He did Junior Baker most recently, which was a follow-up to Butcher Baker, The Righteous Maker, which came out in 2011 when we first opened as a store. Almost like, Butcher and Junior, if it wasn't for our store, those books might not have happened. And maybe even Dutch too. And he's doing Kneel Before Zod, 2 issues in. I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, I recommend Dutch. Got plenty of copies, so come on in and get them. Action Comics almost was my favorite comic of the week. Jason Aaron is doing a really good job. John Timms on art. That guy's really good. And Superman deserves a real fun story that's not too overdone. Although the writing on Bizarro, just in nature, is overdone. So some people aren't going to like these type of stories. And there's probably a little bit of editorial accidents, like letting some things happen that, said it's the whole backward shit. Nonetheless, this story is really good. It makes sense, and I like it a lot. When I got done with this issue, I was like, holy cow, I think I found my favorite comic of the week. And then I read this book, and this was a sellout. If you find this, I'm already dead. A little connection to Joe Casey. Dan McDade does the art on this. He does Kneel Before Zod, and this is magazine sized. Matt Kent is writing. You can tell because it's a Flux House Dark Horse book, which is his imprint. And I'm a big Matt Kent fan. He does really cool books. And most recently, he's been doing some magazine size stuff. He did a signing at our store one time. And if you have his graphic novels, he has certain pages that he created specifically for the signing. And when he does, he burns those pages. So no two books are the same, other than the fact that they're burnt. You're like, what are you doing? Not me. I'm cool with that. Burn to hell. Burn it. Burn it. If you find this already, if you find this, I'm already dead is about a reporter. It's like an alien, you're going down on this planet, but it's okay. It's secured, or is it, from the enemies that are on it? And we're reading the journal of this person, and we're watching it happen also in comic book form, and the artwork is excellent. I like this one a lot. This was the book of the week. I highly, 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 highly recommend you tell your comic store you want this if they don't have it. Run to your comic store to get this. It's just going to be a mini series like most of his stuff, but I know it's a magazine. See, this is the thing about comic books. Not all are meant to be secured. It's just the way it is. You remember we used to have in our bathrooms those little wicker baskets that had Sports Illustrated or things in it. You could, the newspaper. I know there isn't that stuff as much anymore, but that book, this one right here, this is deserving of being in your shitter, so that other people can see it. And I highly recommend it. So that's the best of last week. In your shitter. I'm gonna just bring up these pictures for next week's comics. Oh Jesus! I think sometimes I do stupid things. All right. Let's go back to chat real quick. Oh, you guys talking? What are you guys talking? I want to see. All right, let's see. Okay, it says, I heard that Rocky Romero just signed on to be in the back at AEW. That means Okada will be there. All right, there you go. Dwayne Moose says, Wolverine Bloodlust, 1990, Alan Davis with inks by Paul Neary. Yep, totally. Feels almost unfair to do best of last week anytime Conan or Transformers came out. Boy, tell me, I have only recently read the 4th issue. I don't know. I just wasn't. Daniel Warren Johnson. I mean, this guy. Oh, how can you make me care about something I don't care about? The one thing that's upsetting, obviously, he's not going to be doing the next 6 issues in art, and we don't know if he's going to be continuing in story. That would be a shame. Robert Kirkman should just double whatever he's paying the guy to do it. But I understand with probably Daniel Warren Johnson, he wants to do other things because he's that way. But hopefully the itch isn't fully scratched by the time the last one happens. If he's not doing art, you got to keep him on for writing somehow. You got to keep it going because the guy really knows his stuff. And a book like Transformers kind of proves what that Michael Bay stuff could have been, or the animated stuff maybe at one time could have been. But this is anyway, and Conan, but that was 2 weeks ago if I'm not mistaken. If we're talking theory, gotcha. I know I'm so excited for the new Scarlet Witch series being done by the same creative team coming to the first series and the new miniseries. Oh boy. Hey, they added Quicksilver. All right, you guys are all chatting. Very good, very good. Story Nexus. What's up? How you been? Oh, doing all right. Has the tie-in ever made your best of last week? Tie-in? We'll get into that a little bit. I don't think so. I mean, I sometimes in the best of last week I'm talking about sales, so maybe I've sold out of something. Maybe I actually I haven't been doing best of last week when maybe my last favorite tie-in book was to that horrible Avengers X-Men, that Axe miniseries. There was a one-shot Mark Russell, I can't remember who the artist was, doing a Hawkeye standalone story, which should have made me hate it. I mean, I like Mark Russell, but I hate Hawkeye. But it was such a good issue. They were like, oh, I'm judging you, and I'm doing something from your past, and I'm going to judge you, and if you don't, you die, or something like that. And it was good. I mean, for that kind of a story. Oh, yeah. Lane's talking about the questions. I wrote those down, dude. They're right here. And other stuff. I don't know how accurate it is, but I saw DWJ is writing the next issue after he leaves art by Jorge Corona. Yeah, he's leaving on art, but he's writing the next 6 issues still. So the whole year will be DWJ writing. Tracy Irvin says, Quicksilver looks a little young. Black Panther on X. If you're talking about that cover, well, Russell Donnerman's not doing the interiors ever again. So I don't think we have to worry about it too much. All right. This is the part of the show where we talk about tomorrow's books.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right, but not as full as some of these books that are coming up. Oh, don't do that. First up, Batman, the Joker, Year 1, Part 3. I read Part 1 just the other day, and even though I didn't want to like it, at least it didn't talk to me too much. There is a narrator, but it's not like I'm being talked to too much. I found that the writing was actually good, and although Cameron Coley doesn't always excite me on superhero comic books, he almost always tells a really good story for what's being written. And Zdarsky's doing an okay job with this. I just don't really care about Joker. What can you do? It was announced just the other day. I think it's with 115, but I could be wrong. That Tom Taylor will be off Nightwing. Yay! Hopefully, the next person's how about this, of even higher quality than Tom Taylor. Somebody that wants to do something with the character, like tell stories that go to somewhere and then end, or maybe lead to another story that goes somewhere that leads to another story, and maybe like there's this one kind of like the overarching story should be the family life type stuff. And from what it seems to me, it's more the other way around with Tom Taylor, at least as far as I'm concerned. Ultimate Spider-Man #2. Don't worry, I ordered more, but is it going to be enough? I don't know, but I'm going to incentivize all of you to get your copies from me first. Anybody that buys one by the end of this week, so Sunday, you got till 5 o'clock Sunday, someone will be on the raffle for next week's show for Ultimate Spider-Man 1 in 25. Deke Ruan, I think is how you might say the name. I mean, it's how you say the name. 1 in 25 variant cover. Pretty cool. So not only will you get the A cover, I think they're pretty stylish, you'll get that really cool 1 in 25 variant if you are lucky on next week's show with the Wheel of Names. I already read Ultimate Spider-Man #2. I couldn't wait. Actually, I waited a whole day, and it did not disappoint. I thought it was, again, it looked really good, and you got a lot more Spider-Man action, but how do you get through life? He has 2 kids. He's got a wife that's, I guess artistically in the comic book, they're of equal match, but I don't know what this Mary Jane's all about, but if it's anything like the old one, she's supposed to be a little bit of a higher echelon than our Pete. And he should understand that people aren't so great. You know what I mean? Other than that, I thought it was a really good issue. I liked it a lot. As good, if not better, than the first. Superman #11. The reason why I didn't read Ultimate Spider-Man #2 earlier was because I read this one. What? Yeah, that's true. I mean, continuity wins out overall. Joshua Williamson and I forget, is it David Baldeon doing the art? The only thing I can say that's upsetting about Superman, and that wasn't that break that happened, although that was upsetting, is that we only got Jamal Campbell for 6 issues. And we are on the 11th issue since then. And although the art has been excellent on every issue, it hasn't been Jamal Campbell. And we've seen Ivan Rios leave for Ghost Machine, I do believe it was. And, it's just how many hits interior wise are we going to take at DC Comics? No more Gary Frank, working over at DC. No more Jeff Johns working at DC for a while. So I don't know. I hope Jamal Campbell isn't. I hope he's doing something. Incredible Hulk #9. I'm caught up, but I haven't read this issue yet. Looks like Nick Klein won't be doing the art, so I'm hoping this is a good fill-in. But I'm going to trust. Good cover, though. Spawn number 350, everybody. Did you know? Have you been getting your spawns? Because what usually happens is there's a ramp up to these centennial issues, the 325, 350, 400. If you're a Spawn fan and if you fell off like you've been falling off all those other times, and then you're like scrambling to get caught back up, you better come in and talk to Yule. Or you better pay attention to all the really cool covers that are going to be coming out. Look, an actual McFarlane cover, everybody. And look at that one. And look at that one. Anyway, Spawn 350. That comes out tomorrow. Yeah. I already put it out on the shelf. It's already coming out, I promise. Wonder Woman number 5. The book everybody loves to hate. I love to love it. I think it's quite good. It's not always great, but it doesn't suck like everybody says. I think there's some really good story things that are going on, and I don't know, maybe since everybody says it's not as inventive as I maybe thought it was. I didn't read that spoiler story in Wonder Woman 800, so I didn't really know until I read the first issue. But I thought the rope of lies, or whatever the hell it's being called, the lasso of lies, was a pretty good idea, and how it's affecting people to do this one dude's bidding, this old crotchety old man, like we do. I think overall it's nothing that's irreparable happening to the character. Gods number 5. The book everybody likes to say is so boring. I personally am not bored, and I don't usually like the magic books all that often. This is like Marvel, like Vertigo or something, but with Marvel characters in it. Like Doctor Strange is filthy in this comic. So if you're a Doctor Strange fan and you've slept on this book, you better get it now. I got more copies coming in if I don't already have them in. Rise of the Powers of X number 2. Who cares what people say? You like R.B. Silva and Kieran Gillen's aight. And this is like, almost the end of all this stuff. And you've been hanging on for so very, very long. You got to get a payoff. You know what I mean? So come on in and get this. Cobra Commander number 2. The reason why I didn't read Superman as fast as I did. Holy cow, I read the first issue just the other day, and I had to read the second issue, and it is really good. This Energon universe is stupid. I mean, Joshua Williamson is doing some really great work over on Superman. But he makes me like Duke and Cobra Commander as a character, like a story that I'm reading. And it all ties into stupid Transformers that DWJ is writing. Oh, just amazing. If you told me last year that I would be enjoying Transformers, Cobra Commander, and G.I. Joe, and they're all going to be synced up together, and I would like it, you're crazy. And you'd be even crazier if you said, yeah, and you're going to like a real American hero also. I've read 3 of these issues, and this Chris Mooneyham cannot leave the book. Once again, Robert Kirkman needs to pay this guy double if this guy even thinks about leaving. I've never seen G.I. Joe look so much like a real comic book. A comic book I want to read. And in the second issue, there was like this Fallen Joe, and they did this whole army. It was like army porn. Let me take my face. It was like army porn. They were all, folding the flag, doing the shooting and stuff. Honoring the dead fallen hero. It was amazing. And I'm like, this book just looks different and feels different than almost any other G.I. Joe comic I read when I was a kid. Oh, and written by the same guy. Edge of Spider-Verse. Number 1. All right, a new miniseries, but no, never mind. I saw Kelly and I'm like, could that be Joe Kelly? And then I saw Lansing after it. I don't know any of these people. Aaron McGruder's on this? Really? Oh my God. If Aaron McGruder was actually on this book, that would be hilarious. It doesn't matter. There's first appearances of stupid spider characters, and you just want to get it slabbed. So I got plenty of the different variant covers for you. And I got plenty of this cover for you. So come on in and get it. And just get one right now and come in the next week, and I'll let you buy as many that are left over. Bye. That's it, though. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles source book. It's a source book, and it's got the turtles in a really cool cover. What can I tell you? The series is ending, and then it's going to relaunch with a new number 1. Jason Aaron's going to be writing it. Dun dun. And this is a source book. You got turtles. You like it. Come get it. It's like $7.99. Cemetery Kids Don't Die by Zach Thompson. It's something to do with playing a video game while you're asleep, but then some people aren't waking up and all sorts of shit's going to go down. Oni's trying. There's going to be a book coming out from Oni in the next couple days, and I might actually be reading from a novel to y'all. We're going to get a little literary on you if I can find what I'm looking for. Anywho, pay attention. Cemetery Kids Don't Die. And that is new comic book day for 2/21/24 at Fantastic Comics. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining us. In fact, thank you, everybody, that always takes time to let us know they care.
You know, my last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh? Paisanos!
650 your change.
Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio! Si! Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patrona!
That's right. That's my my sneaky way of letting you know that we have a Patreon page. It's Fantastic Comics. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, if you like helping little guys who are getting smaller, if you like helping out comic stores, if you like comic stores, all that jazz, you can subscribe to the channel. That's all you really need to do. But if you really do like what's going on with us here, you should definitely subscribe to our Substack. It's free, and as long as that thing is going, it's like our mail letter, our newsletter about the store, about the show. It's musings that are brought up, and sometimes I remember what is brought up. Come on in and talk about it. Let me know what you like. Let us know what you like, and wish you could be here if you want. That's why the Patreon's so good. Or joining the channel, because now you're going to be able to get that video that's already there. Don't go watch it now. You can watch it after. All right. I got to bring up a couple of pictures, but while I do that, we are going to talk about A Blood Hunt by Jed McKay. And, I love Pepe Larraz. And Marte Gracia, probably just a colorist, right? Excuse me. Sorry I did that. What do I want to say about this? So this is a 5-issue miniseries. Okay. 5 issues. You're like, okay, cool. It's going to have a Blade. Oh my gosh. I remember when Blade was first in Avengers and they were doing all that Russian vampire stuff with him. And then She-Hulk got, messed up by vampire blood or something like that. And all sorts of stuff. And the X-Men had something to do with vampires in Russia. And finally, we're getting this story, and I assume that's what's been going on because I really haven't been reading a lot of the Blade issues recently. It is a little strange that we're going to have Blood Hunt, a Blade miniseries written by Jed McKay, the guy who's writing Avengers now, not the guy who was writing Avengers then, and not Brian Edward Hill, the guy who's writing Blade now. But I like Jed McKay, and I think this will probably read pretty good. Now, the question that everybody's asking is, how in a 5-issue miniseries do you have at least 59 different how you have 59 different parts to it? And I'm gonna try and talk everybody down off the ledge just a little bit. Okay. Don't freak out about it. Most of these are 3-issue miniseries, and they're not really, it's not like you're gonna need to read them. Maybe because we are comic book fans, maybe because comic book fans are a little strange and peculiar, and we can't we can't let go. Maybe they're preying on us, is what I think a lot of people really mean. We're not really getting upset because there's a lot of parts. If there were a lot of parts and it was something we wanted to read, then nobody would have a problem with it. Even as we're complaining about how much it cost, we would be happy to be buying this. You know what I mean? Because I witnessed it when it was Civil War. People couldn't wait. There was Civil War Battle Zone, which was the Daily Planet's reporting about the things that are going on during the Civil War. Holy cow. Nobody should ever need to have read any of those. They were really good. I feel really good having read them. I've never read them since. I never needed to read them. Nothing happened. Every once in a while, something will happen. But I think what you're going to find out more often than not is that what you feel like you're feeling like you're going to miss out on something. You're going to get that FOMO. Oh, I was buying that Teen Titans, but I just didn't want to buy another miniseries that had something to do with something. And then there was a character that was introduced, and then you're like, God damn it. So then maybe you're buying a bunch of stuff for that reason too. And I'm here to let you know those characters don't matter, and they never will. That first appearance is shit. Okay? You can let it go now. Let it go. Now, if you are the kind of person that does have it and you have friends that give a shit, now you can lord that over someone else. I got that. I didn't give up. That's the fun of collecting comics. But that's a fun of collecting comics. But I don't think we really need to worry about buying every single thing. So when people are saying, is it too many comic books? Yes, it's too many comic books. But let's just pretend. If every single one was a 10, would it be too many comic books? And I then say, yes, it would definitely be too many comic books. Too many good things is not good. Well, what I mean is too many good things is not good. They should all be good. They should, varying quality is a taste thing. But they should all strive to be the best that they can possibly be, not phoning in, but getting it done. A little bit of workmanship, maybe not like, just cutting corners, maybe not just, reading a book and then stealing that story and piecing it out in different comic books. So there's a lot of things like that, that we could do. But if all of these were great, these miniseries, 3-part miniseries, 4-part miniseries, one-shots, series tie-ins. Oh my God, one of them, Spider-Man. Oh, God. Well, you know what? I'm not buying Blood Hunt. And there's a good chance, even owning a store, I might not read Blood Hunt. But you might want to know that a lot of my customers have been coming and letting me know how much they want to buy Blood Hunt. So there are people with the appetite to buy this series. Now, whether or not they're going to buy all of the books is kind of, that's one of those things I have to watch out for. But let's just say I probably buy half of the tie-ins that I would buy of the regular comic book. So Blood Hunt. How many Blades do I sell? How many people that don't buy Blade have been telling me they care about this book? How many extra people do I think I could get to buy this book that normally wouldn't? Can I do a raffle for an incentive cover so I can get people to buy this book? Is there going to be a variant cover so that I can get that incentive cover so I can sell a bunch to people? So I can, all of that stuff has to get factored in. But you can probably guarantee that none of that's going to happen with any of the tie-ins. One of those one shots would have to be drawn entirely, cover to end, by Art Adams, and then I'd buy 25 copies. 50? I don't see that happening. Somebody who shits gold would have to be doing that book, and I can't imagine anybody in comic books that is so great as to get people to buy something they normally wouldn't buy, whether it be superhero, whether it be Blade, whether it be not Spider-Man, not Superman, not Batman, not X-Men. You know what I mean? Or that's pretty much how it goes. And that's how I feel about the tie-ins. And that's how I feel about the one-shots. And every once in a while, hey man, when I sold Secret Wars, the Jonathan Hickman one, when I sold that through my store, Fantastic Comics, we were selling a ton of those comic books, a ton. And we sold a ton of the one-shots or the mini-series that went along with them, but not all of them. And I never ordered as much as the main one. So usually you can get these things on reorder, so it's not that big a thing. If it's really hot enough, they'll go to a second print. Some things go to a second print before they even come out. Ultimate X-Men #1. Calling into question about predatory behavior. Also about printing. Whether or not they're doing, hey, we're all, if you care, let people know up front, even if it hurts you to make a pull list with your store. I hope I can have helped you with some of the pain of Blood Hunt. It's too many books, yes. Is it too many for somebody that wants them all? That's really the question. Here's a person that can't afford it, but they have an addiction. How are you reading all these comics, Gene? Oh, that'd be so awesome if he was listening to the show. But yeah, I mean, there's some people I sell all the Marvel stuff to them. There's some people I sell all the DC stuff to them. There's some people I sell all the superhero stuff to them. And then they put some of it back because I can't remember that they don't give a shit about Spider-Gwen. Everything but not Spider-Gwen. I think this is going to do good, and I think it's going to look good. And Marvel actually believes in something. So I think that's refreshing. I can't tell you exactly which ones of these I will be getting. Personally, I think it's just going to be that Amazing Spider-Man because I do read Amazing Spider-Man. But if I'm not reading this storyline, I might just pass entirely. I might not read that Avengers. I might not read that Doctor Strange. And I hardly read any of that other stuff anyway. So, yeah, although there's going to be a Spidey miniseries. So, maybe I'll read that. Strange Academy. I got some Strange Academy fans. Lane also was asking, will pricing affect the selling or the order? Well, it always does. Pricing always affects it. Thankfully, I've got pretty good terms with Penguin Random House. So if I don't screw up on the ordering and I'm not sitting on a lot, we can all do very well on this. But yeah, I don't know. With all the people talking about it, I am kind of looking forward to this Blood Hunt series. Vampires, Marvel U. Got some fun going on, and hopefully it doesn't all suck. I think the main storyline will be pretty good. So yeah, let's dare to dream that Blood Hunt isn't going to suck. All right. How about miniseries, not a tie-in? Oh yeah. How is it different from being a miniseries like this as opposed to a tie-in like a Gang War for the Spider-Man? Again, it's the same thing. Spider-Man's the main title. I'm not going to order more of the other books that tie into the Spider-Man stuff because it's the main Spider-Man story. But some people do like Luke Cage in my store, and I know they're going to want to get this book. I know some people like Spider-Woman, and they're going to want to get that book. So, what it comes down to is knowing my customers. Now, I would have been harassing Lane to make his mind up finally, and then he finally did. But I would have also been harassing Lane, and he let me know that last week I told him I told you all, if you care about Ultimate X-Men or think you might want to read it, you got to let your comic store know right now, right this second. You might still have a chance. Just let them know right this second. And when it comes in, they'll be able to pull it for you. But the longer it goes along, the more you don't make, and then you got to go pick it up. That's the other thing. But Lane's good about that. All right, going back to chat real quick. Man, I am loving the Incredible Hulk. Oh, wait, Tracy says, pull Spawn for me. Gotcha. Walk says, hell yeah, that artwork is off the chain in The Real American Hero. I agree. Dave Nguyen, I doubt that's Aaron Magruder. Oh, okay. Nyla Magruder. Had to check. Everybody, see, now there you go. Could Aaron Magruder... I want him to do the Plastic Man tie-in. What do you guys think? That'd be fun. I'll email a want list soon and buy as much as possible if you have the stuff I'm looking for. I aspire to be a real customer. Sylvan, all right. Let's do it. Blade ongoing isn't about vampires. It's similar to Hulk's current storyline. I see. This is old. Now 4 of the one-shots are revealed and there are X-Men and they're X-Men characters. So we're gonna have an Iceman one. I hope one's Jubilee, but she used to be a vampire, right? Sean Hickey, I'm actually astonished Marvel put this many tie-ins into this story. LOL. If people need a spreadsheet to understand how to keep up, go back to the drawing board. Well, I seem to recall in Marvel Age or in the comic books, a lot of times they would have checklists. And I remember baseball cards or you always got pissed off when you got a checklist. One of the 3 or 4 checklist cards, it's like, yeah, you got a checklist card, god darn it. I just need 5 more cards to finish this Star Wars collection. So I mean, maybe not a spreadsheet, but I mean a checklist is cool. Close, I mean. FOMO's expensive. I'm gonna go pull Black Panther. I'm just going to pull Black Panther. Sean Hickey. I love Jim McCabe, but I'll probably stick to the main Blade and maybe a one-shot if any are interesting. Amen. I mean, some people have to have every Spider-Man. So having a Spider-Man miniseries and one of the issues be a part of this, that's hardcore. And they're going to do spine tingling, I think I saw there. Yeah. Lane says, I might pick up the main series, 2 of the minis, and maybe 2 one-shots. Amen. That's really all any comic store asks. Well, all right, this is what we ask. Let us know up front that you really want these, or else there's going to be a limited supply on the shelf probably. And don't get crazed if we don't have it afterwards. If you get it, buy it. And if you want, or have us order it and we'll get it for you. I mean, it's possible. We have friends that, comic stores have other comic stores that are friends sometimes. Trust me, for the one-shots, it's like Psylocke, Jubilee. Yeah, there you go, Steve. Oh, jeez. Whatever. I am willing to give it a chance since I really enjoyed the DC versus Vampire miniseries. You must just like vampires, Lane. All right. let's get to the thing we don't normally do. Usually it's like 24 hours after it happens. But there's been some exceptions, and I also usually do this with people here, but I thought we would make it intimate between all of us. We're going to talk about Paul Neary, and I have some pictures that I brought up. Paul Neary died 74 years old. Young. I guess not young, right? Most people know him as an inker, but we're going to do a little trip through. This was his life. And I'm going to do it, how I know Paul Neary. And the first time I saw his work was on Khazar, the Savage. And I have impressions from when I was younger, and I have impressions of the person I am now. Firstly, if anybody could make this into a 3D picture so I could wear glasses and trip balls, this would be one of the all-time greats, if you ask me. There are so many levels I'm seeing right here. It's just wow. But I gotta let you know right at the beginning, as a child, I hated this. I also don't think it looks very good now, looking at it. John Beatty is the inker on this, and maybe that may be part of the reason. But this was not the Kevin Plunder that I was used to. And I was a big Khazar fan. I always said Khazar, but now I'm saying for you Khazar. I forget how we all said it. It's supposed to be. I mean, just look at that guy on the very bottom with his arm. It just looks all funky. The other arm's kind of like lame. Yeah, I was not a fan, especially since I was coming from, Brent Anderson doing it. And my father would buy Conan, and this was one of the books that we'd get. I remember getting Brent Anderson and Bruce Jones to sign my copies. Sometimes when you buy these at my store, you get some of those signed copies. So if you're interested in Khazar's The Savage, I definitely have some in the back issues. And I don't charge too much for them, but they are from my collection when they're signed. And they're usually in quite good condition. But yeah, this was the art that I was used to. It's kind of funny because this is not my favorite part of Brent Anderson, and again, this is inked by Armando Gil, who was not the inker all the time on Brent Anderson. But yeah, so there you go. Before that, he worked for Marvel UK. I guess starting in '79, and he did a bunch of art for them. He did the Hulk magazine, and if you have this in your store, you should pick up the Incredible Hulk from the Marvel UK vaults. And this is a lot of stuff. It's got writing in it, like stories that way. It's got black and white art like this. It doesn't really credit the people except in the front, so you don't necessarily know who's doing what. And a lot of it is supposed to look like the television program, because that's why they were making it. And he also did stuff like that Spider-Man stuff I just showed you. This is stuff I stole off X. There's a lot of tributes to the guy. Here's some of those Hulks, pretty cool looking. Here's a great Spidey. Man, that is really sick. I like that one a lot. Do the kids still say that? Let me drink to that. Goodbye. R.I.P. Sick. That one's a banger. Just joking. The next time I encountered Paul Neary was in Captain America. And although it wasn't this issue, actually, that I experienced him, it was this issue right here. We started collecting it. It was coming near the centennial issue. Wink, wink, everybody. So we were picking up Captain America. The new artist had come on. People were talking about him. And I was like, what? Now, it's funny. The first issue I showed you, this is inked by Eduardo Barreto. And then later on, this one is inked by Roy Richardson, who I am not really familiar with. And looking at a face like Bucky's here, I mean, it definitely emotes, but I'm not really into super angular faces like that, or I definitely wasn't at the time. And so this was jarring to read Captain America looking like this. You can see the Falcon kind of doing that big chin thing too. I do like the bottom right. Who does that remind us of, guys? Was it like maybe a Golden or something like that? A Michael Golden, maybe? Or no, a Walt Simonson, it kind of looks like. This is pretty cool paneling, though. I do like that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, here's another one. Yeah, I think I like it more now, but we'll get into that kind of conversation later. All right, later on, Alan Davis is drawing Adventures of the Outsiders, and Paul Neary starts inking him. And the funny thing about that is that Alan Davis was basically hired, or was, I don't think he hired him. I don't think when he worked over at Marvel UK the first time, I don't think Paul Neary was just like a penciler and you know, he did stuff, but he was helping people come on over to work at Marvel UK. And some of the people he brought over were Alan Davis and even Alan Moore working on Captain Britain. So those are two big Allens in comic books, I think. And so he inked him on The Outsiders. He inked him anytime he worked. Alan Davis worked on Detective Comics. Of course, there's them working on Uncanny X-Men for a couple Mutant Massacre issues. And even more so on Excalibur. Now, I'm not into Excalibur. I'm going to just let you all know that right now. I love Nightcrawler, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a big Kitty Pryde fan. You can be an adult and still be Kitty. You're a woman, it's okay to be called Kitty. Anyway, yeah, I even like England, but I just don't care about Captain Britain and his alien wife and the magic. Not that into Rachel at the time. The rat tail had to go. Just all of it. Those little things flying around, those war dogs. Great covers, though. But at the time, I gotta let you know, I was not really into Alan Davis's artwork either. So I really didn't read a whole lot of his stuff. And later on, Paul Neary goes back to Marvel UK and he's the editor-in-chief. And this time he's really bringing people. He brings Brian Hitch in. He brings Liam Sharp in, Dan Abnett, Carlos Pacheco. Here's Liam Sharp. You know him from the Grant Morrison Green Lantern that people just don't understand. And that's why they hate it as much as they do. Super 90s, and I gotta admit, I hated everything that Marvel UK put out. So again, Paul Neary, don't really care. I mean, I remember Dark Angel, which used to be called Hell's Angel. Can you believe that the Hell's Angels are so litigious? I mean, seriously, the Hell's Angels are like, They're like little bitches. When I didn't say that. Death's Head, Knights of Pendragon. Didn't care for any of that. That all changed when I moved up to the Bay Area and I started working at Comic Relief. And oh my gosh, there's this book called The Authority. And Brian Hitch and Paul Neary and Warren Ellis do some of the most kink-ass comic books there ever was in the 90s. And they have their whole widescreen thing. It's like a movie, and they're bringing it to the comic books and they're telling the story like it's super action-packed and it's amazing. And there's all sorts of sexy people and people doing things that are super sexy and powerful, and they're vicious and just kicking ass all the time. And what a revelation this comic book was. It came at just the right time. It was the answer to coming out of the 90s. It was I'm done with the vertigo. I want to have a superhero book, but I want it to be intelligent, fun, and everything like that. And then Brian Hitch and Paul Neary joined forces with a guy named Mark Miller, and they did the Ultimates. Not once, but twice. And it was a hit. Let me tell you, I was working Comic Relief at the time, and this shit was selling like crazy. When we saw this part when they were showing it in Wizard before it came out, and everybody read this, and Bucky tells everybody that he doesn't jump from planes without a parachute because he thinks it's for girls. And all these guys are just looking at him like he's crazy. It's just so great. Really fantastic. The writing was fun. It was crazy popular, like I said. And it created Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. It basically was the Avengers of the movies. I mean, if it wasn't for the Ultimates, I can't even imagine that anybody would have really thought to do these movies. So Paul Neary was like super instrumental in that. And the thing is, like, when you see people, Mark Farmer might be a little bit of a difference because him and Alan Davis are synonymous with each other also. But when you see Brian Hitch kind of left to his own devices or somebody else inking him, it doesn't really always look that good. And I think one of the problems is because a lot of times people these days aren't really being inked by people, Like we know the people that are, John Romita Jr. is getting inked by his guys. But you're just not seeing it to the same level as we used to. And I think we could see a difference from Paul Neary from one inker to another. I'm going to show you some examples of him later on in his Captain America that aren't done by John Beatty and Roy Richardson or whoever. And how he might look differently. And even Alan Davis, a lot of times, let's just say he's put on with somebody else, or maybe they're just straight to coloring him these days. It doesn't look as sharp as maybe it might be. And I think also there is a lot of similarity between Alan Davis and Brian Hitch, obviously. And in some way, Paul Neary is marrying the two of them within his own style. And that's when, I kind of didn't like him. I collected the comic books. I didn't really like them. I read them. The thing is that they read really well when Paul Neary is penciling comic books. But let me just show you. Okay. So here he is. He got his own cover at least. I got that. This great 300th issue where him and the Red Skull are just like basically fighting throughout the whole issue. But even here, there's a Kirby-esque aspect to his work. There's that three-dimensionality of his stuff. But it looks so I don't know, weird. But I like that now. But as a kid, I needed things to be a little bit more literal. You know what I mean? And that's how we change. Here we have Dennis Janke inking him. Oh, and look, Captain Britain's here on this issue. I think there's like 302, maybe 303. And I think Dennis Janke is like one of the inkers on him more often than the Captain America run. I think Dennis Janke also did a lot of stuff for, was it John Bogdanov in Man of Steel? But maybe it might be one of the other Superman titles. Yeah, so here you go. These are some, I didn't like it as a kid, and I had the comics. But now as an adult, I kind of want to go back and look at the stuff that I did like. And I'm even looking at some of the stuff that I didn't like, and I'm finding a better appreciation for it right now. Captain America comics won't set you back a lot of money, and Paul Neary is a legend. He's done Justice League of America with Brian Hitch and all sorts of other books that you should check out if you can check them out. One of my favorites, and I don't have in the store, don't come asking for it, is Justice League or JLA Heaven's Ladder. I know, everybody hates Mark Waid, and I do too. But this book is so damn good. And I'm going to show you some pictures from it. Let me just get rid of that one. What is this one? Look at that. Can you imagine inking that page? That must have taken forever. This is the magazine-sized one. They did a while ago, DC put a bumper copy. I call them the ones that are like prestige. They put those together for $8-9, something like that. Brian Hitch and Paul Neary, this is like right when they're doing, right before they're going over to the Ultimates, if I'm not mistaken. So it goes Authority, it goes Heaven's Ladder, and then it goes Ultimates, and then it goes Ultimates. And this one is just really good. I love the action scenes. The problem is here I'm loving on a book that's written by Mark Waid and penciled by Brian Hitch, but we're talking about Paul Neary. But I really, really, really do think that it helps Brian Hitch to have, wrong one. Oh, that's another one later. It really, really helps Brian Hitch to have Paul Neary. Without Paul Neary, Brian Hitch isn't as good. There might be some other people that can do an adequate job, but these days, who knows if it's even going to be really people working on it. Here's another older one that I would have hated as a child, but I don't know. I find it really interesting, and I like it. This is the Marvel Team Up Annual. I forget what number. Anyway. There you go. There's my Paul Neary conversation with you. I'm going to go to chat really quick. But before I do that, I'm going to do this. I know that was a clumsy attempt to talk about a dude. My buddy Eric Hannon was an inker, and we were trying to break into comic books together. Me, a writer, him, an inker. We were working with this guy named Tony Santini on he was the penciler, and trying to navigate those breaking into comic book things was tough. But my buddy made it. He got in over at Extreme, and then he worked at Marvel. He inked Chris Baccialo. Don't get better than that, you know what I mean? He inked Rick Veitch. I think it was Rick Veitch. Yeah, those are some classic people. Thank you everybody for joining us one last time. Also, thank you to all the patrons. These are your names scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I felt like I needed to pull from Patreon this week. because it's a short month. And I don't know, some of the weeks have been, I mean, I've had some good days, but because of the rain, I feel, and some of the weeks been kind of a little tight. Like not a lot of stuff to get, even for people that like I have people that buy, it's no problem for them, even, to buy $70 worth of stuff, and they were $25, What can you do? The thing is you're not putting a lot of money into that they're buying because it's new work, new stuff, but you still have bills to pay, and those don't go away. So it can be tough, and that's why I love my patrons. You're the best. Thank you so much. It really, really helps someone. Help me not have to do a GoFundMe, so I don't have to worry about political alliances or anything like that. Although I bet Patreon has that too. The background. Oh, I'm so sorry. The background video keeps making me dizzy each time I look up from my work. Oh, there you go. I wish I would have known that earlier. How's that? All right, Lane's going to bed, everybody. I love that crap. Death Rec is really good if you've done all the time reading the Death's Head stuff. Oh, okay, good. I know this is blasphemy, but dollar bins made me a believer in Marvel UK, so it's so over the top. Dollar bins are great. There's nothing wrong with that. Guess what that comic cost when it came out? It was like about $1.50. Holy cow, this late? Hey, Yule and Jill. Courtney Holland, I hope you heard what I had to say about wrestling this week. Captain Britain is such a wasted concept. He's had incredible moments since his creation, but it's obviously they don't have a clear vision. Well, what about Captain Britain's formerly Psylocke, but British? Hitch's best works with flat colors, much like John Romita Jr.'s. I don't disagree. That was great. Your edutainment slideshow segments are top rated in my brain. You should do them all the time. I should. More segments like this. I love learning about the greats of the industry. Well, I love telling you about them. And I'm going to have people coming on to talk about them. Also, I've had some greats of the industry. And if you want me to try and get Jeremy Adams in, you should let me know in the comments down below so I could say, hey, Jeremy Adams, look at how many comments I have asking for you to be on the show. So there you go. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Look at this, just under 145. I'm gonna play a video for you all on the way out, but do think about I had videos to make fun of Wes about. Do any of these matter? Not now. I was gonna talk about that blood hunt stuff. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I put the link in the channel down below for Wes's channel for the video about him talking about blood hunt and all the different covers and shits like that. So you should check it out. There was another link that I put down there. I can't remember what it was, but you should check that out also. I'm so professional. See ya.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco. Trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.